Hi everyone, it's Sheree from Paper Pieces and Leftovers, and we're going to do this cute little Franklin with his coal bag. He is from marjorieanndesigns.com, and the file he came from is Franklin and Franny Build a Snowman. I'm doing the voiceover because of my allergies. I've been coughing, and that way I can pause it, drink water, and it's not in everybody's ears. So live long and prosper if you have allergies. It's horrible. Now, moving on. I use art glitter glue, and it is very unforgiving, so be careful with it before you push it down. That is my biggest tip with that for you guys that are new to scrapbooking. This is the snowman that does come with the file, and the reason I'm circling his head is you're going to get a white piece, that is his head, with the eyes and mouth cut out. You're going to get a solid black piece the same size as his head, and then the base. And the same thing for his chest, the middle ball, with the little coal buttons cut out. I trimmed off the forehead and both of the cheeks and slid it up and then glued it down. That way it was just like a small area covered, because if you leave it edge to edge the same size, you're going to have the black showing on the sides of the white of your finished piece, and it was very noticeable for me. So I ended up trimming it down, and thank goodness I dry piece everything. When we say dry piece, that just means that we're placing the pieces on top of each other without gluing them. I showed the bucket of Franny just to show you she's inked and ready to go. I've been asked to do an inking video. It will be with a voiceover, just because sometimes we get so focused on inking that we don't talk. Or for me, like my mom, she won't stay on the phone with me when I'm inking because she hates the clicking of the dauber against the paper. She says it just irks her. That is her ick, as she puts it. So let's go over paper colors. Get your pen and paper ready and go ahead and pause the video. That was the Teflon pearls for coughing. I was seeing how many times I could take it a day, and it's only 3 times, but that's all right. I'll manage. We all do with allergies, and we all get them when we're older for some reason. So you're going to start with his legs, and then his body and his feet. Now for your colors. Franklin is always in the color caramel for me by American Crafts. I just put AC next to it so I know. And all of my paper comes from 12 by 12 cardstock shop because they deliver. Now, if anybody knows where to get blush colored chalk from, please let me know, because I made this, but I will never get the color the same because it's excess I've collected for 20 years. And in my video, I'm like, oh gosh, I would never use magenta. Just so you guys know, the one on the right, the darker one, is magenta, and the one on the left is magenta tint. And I call them both magenta. One's light magenta, one is dark. But I was referring to my light one because it leaves a white look, like I would have just used white on my piece. And that right there is frustrating. So that was called pearlescent red, and it looked perfect for my pink, for my blush color. Man, it is shiny and shimmery and pearlescent, which, yes, I should have gotten it by the name, but it was a lot more like when the women that I watch on Facebook or TikTok put on all that beautiful makeup and then the highlighter. It looks like they have highlighter on. And I'm like, oh no, that's too shimmery and shiny for me. So I use it for chalking. Don't buy all the colors like I did in pan pastels thinking that one of them's going to work for blush. They don't work. The magenta looked a lot lighter until I got it. And the magenta tint looked a lot pinker, and it was very, very pale. And then the pearlescent red, no. All right, so back to your pen and paper for our cardstock colors. As I said, Franklin is always American Crafts Caramel. The muzzles, I always use the color Straw, which is also American Crafts. And my ear pads, I always use pink. I know the pattern shows them being the same color as the muzzle. It's just not for me. I like the pink. That is the color Blush by American Crafts. Now, his scarf is going to be American Crafts Coordinations Sandable Lime. So if you just type in lime on the 12 by 12 cardstock shop, and I can put the link in the comments. if you need it, because it does help me out. They give me a little bit of credit so that way I can get some newer cardstock that's coming out, just like the Encore. I am slowly going to divorce American Crafts. I love their cardstock, but Encore cuts so much cleaner with your pointy edges and your finer, more intricate pieces. They don't fray as much. And I know it's repairable, but I also don't want glue all over my pieces trying to fix it. Now, that being said, you're going to do your legs, your feet, your body, your ears and your ear pads, and then your scarf, the tails to your scarf, the scarf neck collar part, and then your head. When I dry pasted, I almost forgot to put the scarf. Even when I was gluing, I had to remind myself the whole time, put the scarf on before the head, put the scarf on, because I always forget even though I'm looking at it on the computer. I don't know why. And there's been times I've had to go in and splice my scarf around the neck and his head and then just butt it up against. And that's how I've been able to save it because I couldn't get it under his head. But I've learned a lot over the years scrapbooking how to make it where I'm working smarter and not harder. And I love sharing things with you guys. And I don't share everything just so I can keep some personality and individuality to myself and my own pieces. I was holding that sandable lime color up because I did use American Crafts grass on the snowman and for the carrot that Franny has. And I just wanted to do a mental reminder to tell you guys I did use 2 different greens. You don't have to. It's really up to you. And if you can't find the sandable lime, the next perfect color, well, there's actually 2 from Encore. It's going to be grasshopper if you want a brighter green. And if you want an in-between of the grass and the lime there, my choice was going to be parsley because it's a little lighter than the grass, but a little more greener than the lime, if that makes sense. And if you have American Crafts options, if you don't have access to the lime, then I would go with the color cricket. I bought 2 25 packs of cricket and 4 packs of 25 of the grass because those I do use a lot of greens, especially for fall and autumn and winter. Christmas, everything's green, so you can't go wrong with green paper, but even summer, grass. And the boys, I give them green shirts. Yesterday in my video, I told you guys that as soon as I was done with my oceanic paper that I used on the little girl's shorts, she's holding a donut. I just had to pause it for a moment because I had to clear my throat. Okay. Once I ran out of the oceanic, I was going to go to Blue Jay. That is what his beanie is cut out in, that color. And I know it's a dark teal in the picture, but I wanted to show you guys what it looked like actually in use with your edges inked or chalked. The coal bag is in the color ash. That is American Crafts. And then my black is just regular black textured cardstock. It really doesn't matter the brand. I look for whatever is cheaper and on sale. And their Encore paper at 12 by 12 cardstock shop is a little cheaper than American Crafts, but like I said, it cuts so clean with intricate pieces. And I can't stress that enough. So Franklin's all put together and you're going to have a line of coal. I glued that on the top of the back of my bag. And you guys saw me with the round foam dots. Those aren't working for me. They were too thick. You can get those from 12 by 12 cardstock shop, and I found them at Joann's, so that is another option. 1, if you don't have an order to place with 12 by 12 cardstock shop, or 2, you don't shop online, or 3, you're at Joann's or can make a special trip, you can find them there. And my roll of foam tape is a lot thinner than those dots, and it came from Joann's. Sell them anywhere. And one thing with me is I do look at the thickness because I do have multiple thicknesses of foam tape. So if you didn't know, you now know you can actually get different thicknesses. I have to be careful with the thickness of my foam tape if it's a customer order because it has to fit through a 1/4 inch slot, and I have the actual piece that I have to slide it through to make sure that it goes through. Otherwise, it ends up having to go as an envelope or a package instead of an envelope, and it'll get damaged during shipping. So I kind of always double check and triple check how thick my pack is. And when you guys order a whole set, that's why I tell you I'm going to send 2 invoices. That way I can separate my order so it doesn't end up going as a package, because I don't want you guys to get something bent, as I would want something I ordered that is going to be passed on and kept as a keepsake in new condition. I wouldn't want something ruined. Now, the hand, his left hand, even though it's on the right side looking at it, he's holding a little piece of coal. And the right one, I think it's a pipe. My daughter thought it was a lighter, but I think it's a pipe. It's just because he's holding it, you don't really see the whole benefit of the shape, but it works. That was the embossing folder I used. It's a Sizzix embossing folder. I found it on Amazon. And that I was showing just the container that I used for my blush. I have tons of pan pastel, but the ones that came with the eyeshadow applicators is a lot taller. And pan pastels, I use them sometimes instead of inking. I don't necessarily always use inks. Memento, I use my Lawn Fawn, and I've gotten a lot of messages. Memento if you're new, or the Hero Arts Ombre. And both of those you can use coupons at Joann's, but you can't get a whole lot of them. I think 1 coupon per purchase. Or if you're like me, you wait until they go on sale at Hobby Lobby. And there's a way to set the chalk. That is so your chalk doesn't fade or rub off. What you do is you put a piece of paper over it, and you take a spoon, and I was just showing, and then go in circular motions, and it basically puts it into your paper, and any excess will come off on your paper. And that's how you can keep it from fading and ending up on the plastic cover if you do use your scrapbook covers. The last thing is the coal bag. You have an option to cut out the letters individually or have them cut out in the bag. If you don't want them to cut out in the bag, you do need to contour the piece and just hide them. That's all you have to do. But she did give us 2 options, and I chose to cut them out individually and glue them on the bag. Any questions, let me know, and I'll try my best to answer. Thanks for watching, and the finished piece will be posted as a thumbnail.